Hello. In this video, we'll be going over IRS Form 433D, an installment agreement. So this is the form that the IRS will likely make you complete if you are behind on your taxes and you are trying to set up a regularly recurring payment plan. So that's also known as an installment agreement. So taxpayers would submit Form 9465 or complete the installment agreement request through the IRS website to get the IRS to approve of an arrangement. The 433D form is the actual installment agreement, which the IRS will ask that you complete once that agreement is approved upon. So we're gonna go over it in just a moment, how to complete all parts. So page 1 is what you would complete. That's for the IRS. Page 2 is blank. Page 3 is another copy that is your copy. So technically it's the exact same information, but it would be for your records. And then on page 4, there are step-by-step instructions for the taxpayer based on your situation. So a couple of highlights. There are user fees that can range from $43 to up to $178. So we did break that down in our article. So if you don't have a direct debit agreement, you'll pay the full $178. If you do enter into a direct debit agreement, then you'll pay a user fee of $107, which is a little bit lower. For low income taxpayers, that fee would be reduced to $43, and it can be even eliminated based on qualifications. If you make electronic payments through a debit instrument by providing your banking information, if you're not able to do that, then the IRS offers to reimburse the reduced user fee when the installment agreement is complete. So there may be even lower fees based on the IRS's online system. If you do default on your agreement, you have to pay an $89 restatement fee, which can be reduced based on income. So there are some other considerations if the agreement is terminated, such as immediate seizure, if there's any kind of threat to being able to collect the tax, the IRS does reserve the right to terminate the agreement. If this is not approved, then the IRS will send you a notice by mail. They may still reserve the right to file a notice of federal tax lien as part of this payment agreement. So, and then there's a checklist for making your installment payments if you choose to not pay by direct debit. So let's go through the top of this. So name and address of taxpayer, John Doe, and his address is 1000 Anywhere Road, Anytown. Apologize that this is not exactly even with the lines. That's the way Adobe has made this form work. And for the purpose of this, we'll put his taxpayer information and then we'll put his spouse's information here. And then telephone numbers. If you have a second number, you can always put that as an additional work, cell, or business number. The IRS will give you, you can call either of these numbers depending on your situation. In my experience, the numbers that the IRS provides usually result in long waits. So if you're going to contact the IRS for something, I generally recommend that you schedule an appointment at your closest IRS office so you can deal with this in person. You can submit a new W-4 to your employer to increase your withholding. Let's just say that the Form 1040 tax return, and we're going to cover the tax periods 2022 to 2024. Now let's just say that the amount as of April 1st. Well, we'll call it May 1st. So covering the 2025 tax year as well. Let's just say that this is $50,000. And then I or we agree to pay the federal taxes shown above plus penalties and interest. So while your taxes are outstanding, the penalties will still keep accruing as well as the interest as provided by law. Now you can request abatement of penalties. Generally, the IRS will abate penalties upon request after you've paid off the debt. So I would, at the very least, make sure that the debt is well on its way to being taken care of before you ask for penalties to come off of it. If you pay the entire debt down and then ask for penalties, they'll simply send a check in the amount of the penalties that they reduced or abated. Now, the IRS can choose to increase this, or you can try to modify this, but every time you submit this back to the IRS, it is subject to approval. So, but bottom line here, the agreement does have an IRS approval here. So let's just say that we're going to pay $600 a month on the first, let's say, so basically, let's just say that we agree to pay $600 a month on June 1st and then $600 a month for every month afterwards. That might actually not be enough for $50,000 since the payment timeline is usually 72 months. So let's juice this up to $1,000 a month just to be on the safe side. So $1,000 a month, that puts us pretty clear, you know, if we pay, we could pay this off in probably a little over 4 years by doing this. If this was already an existing agreement and John Doe wanted to increase it, then he could say, let's just say that as of maybe December, he's anticipating a pay raise and he wants to increase that by an extra $200 a month for a new payment amount of $1,200. That's how you would do it. You can put your initials here. The IRS may have additional terms that they would enter here. The direct debit option, you can enter your banking information or you can just attach a voided check. Most people would attach the voided check to avoid any confusion. I would recommend that as well. But you know, you can put your account information if you wanted, just like that. If you're not able to make debit payments, there is a checkbox here. Then you would need to send in regular payments, sign it, date it. If you're operating on behalf of a business, you can put the title, and then if you and your spouse are making this agreement request based on a joint tax liability, then you and your spouse would both sign and date this. Now, the bottom of this is for IRS use only. They're basically different review periodicities. So this is kind of tells the IRS when to follow up on this particular agreement with some things like the collection statute expiration date, a notice of federal tax lien. It's either been filed, will be filed when the tax is assessed, or may be filed if the agreement defaults. So you would see that on your copy based on the IRS's take on this. Generally speaking, at least in my experience, a tax debt of less than $50,000 generally is below the threshold where the IRS feels the need to file a tax lien. So above $50,000, the IRS generally will place a tax lien, but clients that I've worked with, if they were able to get their tax down below $50,000, they were able to avoid the lien. Now the taxpayer copy is the exact same thing. It's simply for your records. And then again, on page 4 is the checklist for making your installment agreements. So that's all we have here. Generally, by the time you get to this form, you've probably been back and forth with the IRS. You've probably already had some kind of loose agreement on or conversations on what you would be able to pay. This should be more of a formalization of that. So we'll put links in the show notes to resources we've created about some of the other tax forms mentioned here, such as IRS Form 9465. That's the installment agreement request. W-4, if you needed to submit a new W-4 form. We'll put links in the show notes for all of those forms that we've mentioned here in this video. So if you like our articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you like our YouTube videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, or if there's another topic that you'd like to see in an upcoming video, please hit us up in the comments section. Thank you very much and have a great day.